Beep boop beep boop. This is Chef Boyd RD, and you're listening to the Hoop Pod Live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen and gentlemen. My name is Josh. I'm one of your lovely hostesses of the Hidden Oaks Overdose Football Fix podcast. I'm here with your other lovely host, Garlic, the Johnson Johnson. Gar, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Jeff. How are you?
I'm Durin. Shout out Audio Isle and T. T must be lost. So I'm going to take the lead tonight. That's why there's going to be a lot of stumbling. But just want to welcome you all to the show. You can interact by logging on to YouTube and going to our page and commenting. I don't know if anybody knows how to do that because we don't get comments there, nor do we look at them. Segment times will be in the discussion below or description below. Thank you, Levi Oki illustration. Gosh, there needs to be spaces in words. Gar, why aren't you talking a lot tonight?
Well, you see, some of us have small brains, Josh, and I have a really small brain, and I forgot my big laptop and my microphone and everything at home, and we're actually co-located in the same concrete-filled basement right now, right where it all started. Our very first podcast happened, feet from where I'm sitting now, but I'm using just my shitty mic on my Surface, so I'm going to be pretty quiet because the mic quality is going to be garbage, and if you're talking when I'm not muted, everyone will hear everything that you're saying and I'm saying, so there'll be a lot of echo. So I'm going to try and minimize myself tonight. You already got a yikes from Al, so that's what I'm saying. I'm going to try and do less talking tonight, Josh. That's why you're in charge, but I'm excited, and I'm excited we're back in the same basement. It's exciting to see your beautiful face,
What you've got to say is so nice. They got to hear it twice. Is that what I'm hearing? Perfect. So, we got Gar's Grinder right now, and you just had a long monologue there for a while. So I'll just kind of fill this space by saying a few things here and there. So this is going to be me introducing Gar's Grinder. Everybody knows what Gar's Grinder is. Gar, who was your grinder this week?
Well, you see, Josh, we had to go with little Deion Jackson. Only 42 rush yards on like 12 carries. Not overly impressive, but he had 10 receptions for 79 yards through the sky. That's a PPR monster. Anyone who picked up Deion Jackson loves him.
I don't. I had him on my team. Still got eliminated from guillotine. No big deal. Rant and Rave. Popular segment where we've gotten in a whole single caller in the 6 weeks we've been doing this. But I'm just going to go on record and say the Packers stink. They're bad. I hate them. My favorite team is the Buffalo Bills. Always has been. Never been changed. No, Packers do stink, though. Rodgers is out here trying to do some voodoo magic bullshit in the locker room. It sounds like he's saying that they need to get in the right mindset. Probably has ayahuasca tablets in everybody's locker pregame. I don't know. It's been interesting, this offense. They did fine in past games without Devontae Adams, but I really think Aaron's having a hard time throwing through the tiers, realizing that Devontae's on a whole different team. We've also got the worst 5-1 team in the history of the league in our division, and it just sucks because people see the 5-1 and will instantly go, oh. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if their team gives up more yards than multiple games combined. This team is. I watch their games. They're nothing to write home about except for their record. Delvin Cook gets lucky every once in a while. He had that long touchdown run where it looked like he should have been tackled at the line of scrimmage and broke free. Good on him. Had a little bit of flash of Christmas pass there. Justin Jefferson, he can get open, it seems, sometimes. Adam Thielen had a decent game this past week. The defense, there's 11 guys on the field, I guess. But worst 5-1 team in history, and that's taken over from the Green Bay Packers, worst 13-3 team in history. So let's just see if the Vikings can continue that.
I mean, Josh, there's not a lot to say about the Vikes. I think we both agree they're just getting lucky somehow. And I understand you have to hear me in person and in your ear, so you probably don't enjoy it, but that's the way she goes. I'm just curious, what do you think? Like, I am definitely not going to call the Packers dead until week 18 and the clock hits 0 and they miss the playoffs. I still think Rodgers and company have plenty of time to turn it around, just on my own personal feelings from the outside looking in, but you've been a Packers fan a long time. Do you feel like this is somehow different? Is this more worrying than other years where they've started slow or stumbled? Do you think this is different, or do you still think that they'll turn it around?
think it's a little different just because the offensive line has struggled of late. I watched a play where one lineman ran the completely opposite direction of the remaining four, and that was just embarrassing to watch. And that's one of our starters. It's Royce the Mullet Newman. Literally looks like a bloated Jesse, if we're trying to paint a picture for the fans here. And so that's kind of worrying. It's also been the third week in a row where both Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur have said they need to get the ball in the hands of Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon because they can run the rock. They're averaging 5 yards a carry. I mean, 3 weeks in a row, it's kind of like, okay, let's keep saying that after the games. But how about we actually get it done? So that's, it's a little bit different. I guess as far as overall production goes, Rodgers isn't doing the worst as far as like it's not necessarily screaming the reflection of Mike McCarthy era or the end of Mike McCarthy era, but he's checked out. You can kind of tell just based on some of the things that he says, how he's on the sideline. He doesn't have that longing look that he used to give Jordy or Adams. He doesn't have that with anybody on the team now. So they need to either trade for somebody that he's going to be comfortable with. They tried the Sammy Watkins experiment, and that lasted a solid 3 weeks, just like we all planned. And so there's got to be some sort of movement in order to get me to stop from tying the cinder blocks around my ankles.
No, I appreciate your input because I don't know. We'll see what happens. 3-3 is by no means a death sentence, but it is troubling, and I was curious kind of what you thought. Jets, Jets.
So Al, that is correct. I think you're going to do just fine on your spelling test. But yeah, I mean, the Jets and the Giants, two New York teams that everybody had written off preseason. The Giants are 5-1, aren't they? And the Jets are 3-2.
Jets are 4-2.
4-2. So it's they are, they're solid teams. That defense for the Jets is pretty solid. Sauce Gardner might be a guy. And so, yes, Al, worst 3-3 team I've ever seen. Good job. But they're not good. I'm agreeing with you. So moving on, we can get into the weekly recaps. That was a long rant, no raves. And so, I guess a little bit of the rave for the Vikings record.
Cool.
Yeah, no, that's literally going to haunt my nightmare. Just cool. So grain of salt, Guard, do you want to start us off here? In true fashion, for whatever reason, I was just not feeling this week, not feeling today. I did not do my grain of salt. I know for sure I lost in at least, we'll say 4 leagues. We'll say I'm just guessing off the top of my head. I'll say I went 3-5. That's just an absolute guess, but based on how I feel I went, I'm going to guess 3-5, and I'm still alive in both guillotine leagues, though, so I got going that for me. But in Brad's league, I got my second near-death experience, so I still have the most money. Like, the only person I've spent money on, I think, is J.K. Dobbins for like $45. So I have plenty of money. We'll see if I spend it or if I keep trying to coast and just hoard that money as long as I can, but still alive in both guillotines, but I'm just going to guess I went 3-5. I'm going to guess my overall record is back beneath 500. We'll guess it's 250 to 260, something like that. Okay. I went 3-3, so not a solid week. I got eliminated in the other guillotine league. I told Nikita this morning, I was like, I actually forgot to save a lineup change that would have kept me in the running because I had Robert Tonyan in my lineup and forgot to save it, and so Dalton Schultz stayed. So that kind of sucks. But at the same time, no more stressing. The guillotine leagues get my blood pressure up way too high. My doctor says I need to stop. I lost in the Dynasty League, but I had the third highest score, so Brad had the second highest. My only 2 losses come to playing, one of the 2 teams that could have beaten me. I lost against the median, so my own rules coming back to bite me in the butt. I'm literally 2-4 against the median, but I'm 5-1 against the head-to-head. And then I did rattle off my 4th straight win and deflate these balls, despite having played one of 2 teams I could have beaten. So, ladies. And then I did get my first loss in the Victoria's Secret League, but it was bound to happen, and it's just going to start my downward spiral in that league per usual. Overall, though, I'm 25-11, so just shy. I'm at 69.44% win, and then 191 and 139 for a 57.88 overall.
Which league is looking the worst for you? Which one have you written off? Because I know when deflate these balls early, you're like, we'll tank here, we'll trade off our key player. Now it looks like you might make the playoffs, and so that max points for won't even matter. Which do you think is your worst league, and which league has surprised you so far this year?
Well, I think the deflate these balls league, it's been a kind of a roller coaster, just because the first 2 weeks, I think week 2, I was the worst scoring team. Week 1, I was just, kind of right smack dab in the middle. I've had a few bad weeks, but like Damian Pierce becoming a guy quick helped. Kenneth Walker becoming a guy quick helped. Brian Robinson coming back and actually contributing helped. And so my low score this past week probably had a lot to do with my wide receivers being subpar. So I was a little shocked. I mean, that 3-headed dragon, or what was Connor's? Was it the 3-headed dragon?
Something like that, yeah. CMC, Chubb, and
Elliott.
There you go.
But yeah, so now I think I got the new one with the Brob, Heart Brob, Kenneth Walker, and Damian. So I'm pretty happy with that core of running backs. The team that I'm not necessarily looking forward to watching crumble is the Hidden Oaks redraft. I already talked about the against the median just being trash for me. I can't keep getting lucky. I told you before the podcast started that I actually, with that luck ranking, 100% is the highest you can get, meaning that you played the only person you could beat each week. And I'm at 96%. So it's one of those ones where I like literally fell down a hill, but the horseshoe landed in my butt crack and just stuck. So I don't know if anybody else says that, but that was something that I grew up with listening to my pappy say.
All right, I'll go ahead and take the next part here then. Thanks for your grain of salt, Josh. Thanks for the insight on your fantasy so far this year. But just so I don't do zero talking, I'll go ahead and quickly go through the FanDuel top 3 here. In terms of fantasy points, Joe Burrow had the best week with 32.5 points. They were playing the... Yes. Okay, I don't remember either, but then Jamar Chase, so if you had the Burrow Chase stack, you were loving it. He had 28.7, and then Matty Ice was 27.16. The top 3 values were the Jets D at 6.1 times the value, the Seahawks D at 5.5 times the value, and then Mike Gesicki was at 21.9 times the value. He got 2 touchdowns, and teams are just like Aaron Rodgers' streak used to be. If you mock the belt, you were 0 whatever. I believe teams that mock, I guess it's not mocking the gritty, because JJ himself says he likes when other people does the gritty, and he doesn't say like it's my thing, no one else can do the gritty, but other people have done the gritty against us are allegedly 0-8, so let that be known. The top 3 weekly totals, Derek won the week with 133.9, Walters came in second with 131.96, I came in third somehow with 125.66, and then on the year, the top 3 on the leaderboard is Carmel at 728.84, Derek in second at 726.24, and then Walters 711.58. So pretty interesting FanDuel. A lot of weeks left. We're not even up to, we're using the best 10 scores, so we've still got 4 weeks to go until we're filled up with our first 10 scores. And then some people are a week or 2 behind because they started late or they missed a week or whatever, which is fine. But a lot of time left, a lot of game left. Josh, any strategies you were going to use to be better on the FanDuel, or are you just lying in wait?
Lying in wait. But I mean, my strategy is going to be to like distract everybody else from setting lineups the last 6 weeks. And that way I have a little bit of an advantage. And then just kind of go forward from there. I'm hovering around the middle of the pack. I'll probably jump up 1 spot before falling down 6, and then jump up again 1 spot, fall down 7, finish bottom 3rd like usual.
That's the dream, huh, pal?
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, I'll go ahead and I'll intro this next bit here because you actually wrote the hoodlines this week because I was just lazy on every single front. But you wrote the hoodline, so thank you so much, Skybusters, for sponsoring this bit. And Josh, how do you feel, even before going into it, how would you rate your creativity on the hoodlines this week? I haven't even read them. I don't know what they say. How do you feel about what you did this week?
Well, I've only got 3 of them. I figured I'll throw something in there so we don't get to the show and go, oh, no. But 5 out of 4. I don't know.
That's all right. Well, we also won't have the music in the background because I didn't get that going. So thank you, Skybusters, for bringing us the hoodlines, and I'll just go ahead and... Go ahead, Josh.
Brave little Taylor and JT say bye 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 to the Backstreet Boys despite Jonathan Taylor being out this week. More Help is the latest victim of the woke mob known as Pack Lives Matter. Is it safe to say More Help is canceled? An aerial spectacle ended with the Jefferson Starship crashing to Earth after a camo-colored hot air balloon let loose the Skybuster. Now onto our main story, the side bet of the week won by insert winner here with a total of...
Wasn't it?
Oh, breaking news. The winner of the side bet was T with the crazy eights in a total of 6.
Congrats, T. You got $5. Let us know how you feel about it in the chat. You're rich, dude. I know, Al. I'm trying to talk the least amount I can, okay?
Yeah, so moving on, we've got, so that was it for the hoodlines. Thank you, Skybusters. Guard, you had a little bit of a reaction. Got a good pop out of you on that second one, as Pat would say. Are you a big fan of the woke mob known as Pack Lives Matter?
I mean, just you spoofing on the woke mob. It's funny because I know, like, again, I've talked about it before. I used to have a team name called Jag, or God Hates Jag. So like I've played with it, but I was like, "Whoo, Pack Lives Matter." I was like, when I first read it, I was like, "Whoa!" But then I was like, "All right, it's totally clean." But I just think it's funny, especially with midterms, the elections in 2 weeks. I've already voted, but I'm over the political ads.
Oh, yeah. I've been over them since before they started happening. Worthy waivers, we've got a solid one letter in there. The letter K, which I just assume means a whole lot to somebody.
I mean, Deion Jackson?
Yeah, no, I mean, he's most likely available in your leagues. I think I saw him get picked up by a couple of them. Kyron Williams is another one that people are kind of talking about. He's coming out to IR in the Rams because... apparently Cam Akers wants out because they don't let people with half an Achilles play. So that's just one thing. T's going to buy a house with that $5 he just won.
Hell yeah, brother. What about Tay Train? I know I picked him up. I thought he looked good. Maybe the best player on the field last night for the Broncos. You going to put any money on Tay Train?
I probably won't just because I don't necessarily think that I'd utilize him, so it wouldn't be worth wasting that money at this point of the season. Just because the leagues that I have waiver budget in, yeah, it doesn't tickle my fancy.
Taylor Heineke.
I'm going to put all of my free agency dollars on it.
What about Robbie Anderson? Greener pastures in Arizona, or still garbage?
Still garbage. Although with Marquise Brown taking a sideline seat for the next couple of weeks because of that injury. He could have some role coming in, but DeAndre's coming back after his 6-week vacation. So who knows? Kyler's still got, he's out there trying to get that KD up because that game comes out here in a couple of weeks.
All right. Last one, I guess. Greg Dulcich, tight end. If there was a better player on Monday night than Tay Train, it might have been Greg Dulcich. Do you think he's worth picking up, or do you want to stay away from every single Bronco?
I'm staying away from every single Bronco. I mean, Russell Wilson came out 10 for 10, and then he probably just thought, I proved him wrong. So then in the second half, he came out and went 3 for 17 for 15 yards. So he can prove us right again. But yeah, that offense is anemic. I don't want anything to do with it. I did see a good comment on Reddit that I think was a tweet as well, but Melvin Gordon, he only got 3 carries on like the first drive, and then he vanished after that against his former team, no less. And people are saying, well, Melvin's good enough to split carries with Javonte, but he can't steal carries from Latavius. So Latavius is essentially the new RB1, even when Javonte comes back next year. That's what Reddit's trying to get on.
All right, I also have a co-star I've missed for a very long time. Kaya is currently was just scratching my foot. Kai really wants attention. Kai, do you want to say something? Kai, speak. Oh, now you want to talk. Oh, all right. I tried to get Kai to talk, but all right. That's all I got for worthy waivers, Josh. If you want to, you can hit the outro. Just tell people to listen. We're gonna be hitting the outro very early, but then we won't have the sad music for the obituaries either. But you want to get your Go Packers in there?
Package. Thank you for listening, everybody. You can join us on Discord. That's where most of our discussions happen. We are Hidden Oaks Overdose Football Fix. We'll see you Saturday morning. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your doctor, tell your church.
And now, pretend that a sad song has started playing, and I'm very sad. And this song is called Sad because we're sad, and Josh and Nikita are dead, and we're sad.
R.I.P. in peace, Josh and Nikita Mitchell, 9/5/22 to 10/17/22. A poem by future Asher sent back to the present time, titled Squish Squash. Squish squash, subtle whisper of a sound. Squish squash, muddy steps upon the ground. Squish squash, louder now, but far away. Squish squash, mocking this game we play. Squish squash, getting clearer, coming closer still. Squish squash, like ducklings playing in an oil spill. Squish squash, mocking shouts from the remaining foes. Squish squash, poor excuses is just the way she goes. Squish squash, you were mom and dad. Squish squash, your teams were really bad. Squished, squashed, dead.
And now sad music gets slightly louder, and we're sad. Sad. Are really sad because Josh is dead. And that's the show. And we finished really early. And thanks for listening, everybody. Love you, bye.